What is up, everybody? Welcome into the Jacob Phillips episode 50. We are at 50 episodes in the books, halfway to the century mark of the Mark and Brown Show. I am your host, Jacob at Roachism13 over on Twitter, joined as always by my wonderful co-host, Mr. Nick Carnes at Carnsies817 on Twitter. Nick, how are we tonight?
Hi. I'm pretty excited. We've got some fun things to talk about tonight, show related. So there's that little piece, and you know what? Slowly but surely, we're inching towards the draft here.
3.5 weeks.
3.5 weeks into episode 50. Wow.
Halfway there.
I don't know.
I don't know. I don't know how we got here, man. I don't know. We got all kinds of stuff for you guys tonight. We'll have a little bit of fun. Ed will be on a little bit here, a little bit later to tell you exactly what we got going on. But real quick, I got a couple housekeeping items real quick I wanted to get to before right off the top. Let me get the chat brought up. We're already getting comments in from Twitch. Connor says, wow, Nick is him. So you heard it here first.
We are on Twitch now.
We're on Twitch. That's where we're at, guys. We are presented by the Faithful Dogs Network, the FD Network Cleveland. We are all live over there on their Twitch now. So you can join us over on Twitch. You can join us on the Twitter and the Facebooks. We got an awesome, massive mock draft Saturday night coming exclusively to the Twitch Saturday night at 8 p.m. We'll be joined by our good friends over from the Faithful Dogs podcast. We'll join Nick and I. Nick thinks he can join. I shouldn't commit to him knowing that he's not. Well, then that's my fault. I shouldn't say it unless we know for sure. But we're going to go through 3 or 4. I don't know what we're going to do. We're still talking about it. Probably 3 or 4 different mock drafts running so we can give you guys a whole bunch of different great scenarios. Seriously, guys, if you do not follow FD Network Cleveland over on I think that's the @ on Twitter, FD Network Cleveland, CLE. Go over to the Twitter page, pinned at the top of the profile, an opportunity to win an Amari Cooper jersey for the Browns. Just need to follow our Twitch, follow the network's Twitch, follow the network's Twitter, retweet that tweet at the top. Guys, I say it every week. I'll say it again. The most valuable thing you can give anybody is some of your time. So thanks for giving some of your time to us. On our debut, I decided to break out the Hawaiian shirt for the debut on the Twitch channel. We are rocking. We are rolling. I've got a massive rant coming at you soon. But those are the housekeeping. Nick, do you have any notes on those?
Obviously the Faithful Dog Network is a move for us, and we're really excited. Obviously Tyler, Zach, and Connor. I don't have your ats off the top of my head, but you probably know them if you are on Brown's Twitter. If you don't follow them, you are missing out. And Faithful Dog Network is building something, right? Because it's not only is it the 3 of us here along with producer Ed and them, but they're building something larger and bigger. And so if you're interested in that stuff, as Jacob said, we're coming to you from their Twitch channel. They're going to have a whole bunch of content available to you. So us in addition to themselves and a whole bunch of other stuff that
other podcasts. We're talking pregame and postgame shows. Probably some, I don't know, maybe some live draft pick.
Yeah.
Reactions for the draft coming up.
So you've got a lot of people that are gonna present it and come from it with different ways and angles, and we're really excited because obviously we've been doing this. This is episode 50, so it's like we just kind of keep going, and we found a bunch of other people that feel that way too, right?
We're building something awesome.
Yeah, and so as we figure that we're all friends here, and we all believe in the same thing, so we're gonna see where it goes. We're really excited about it, and on to the future,
dude. We've so side note, because I see the comment from Twitch from Cosman12. I was going to put Nick on the spot with this a little bit later on, but now I think I'm going to give him a heads up. Nick, by the end of this show, I need a Goodbye Baker poem. Can you give me at the end of the show a Goodbye Baker poem?
I'm capable.
Okay.
But I'm not there yet, Jacob. I don't want to do that to Baker. I don't.
It's okay.
It's a complicated issue.
Can I get a poem? Can I get any poem?
Yeah, I might be able to cook something up.
Can I get an Amari Cooper poem?
Yeah, I'll give you some Amari.
All right, there it is. There it is. To celebrate the Twitch, we will get an Amari Cooper poem at the end.
I can do that.
Hey, Sean says hi. How you doing out there, Sean? Appreciate you joining us. Ainsley's in here. No, Zach's in here. Our good friends working with us over here at the network. Ross says he loves my shirt. That's great. Connor says Baker's gone by 4 p.m. Cosman says you've ruined his night by not giving him a Baker poem. But we're going to get you a poem.
That might be Browns After Dark content, honestly.
Oh, all right. All right, we're going to bring on producer Ed. Man, he's over manning the Twitter comments and everything else. What's going on, Ed? What do we got going on tonight?
Oh, we got a great show as we transition with our new partners, the Faithful Dogs Network. Congratulations to us. I think we're with some really good people, and I'm proud to be a part of this. And away we go. Like you said, episode 50. Wow, 50 episodes. Jacob Phillips. Hey. I just want to say, guys, as we embark on this, we always say we bark together, and we got some more dogs with us. So
yeah,
that's always a good thing. So also fire those Twitter comments in. I'll get them on, and I'll have my go for it and some nuances like we always do. And I want to get the show rolling. First one with Twitch and the Faithful Dogs Network. So let's go, guys.
All right, buddy. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Ed.
I'm excited. We've got people coming in over on the Twitch channel. I can see the viewers. Numbers are, it's some live numbers. I can't see the live Twitter numbers, but I'm already seeing numbers come in that are pretty great. So, all right. So we're just going to go off the top, man. We've got a couple of things to do tonight. We're going to get to a draft corner a little bit later on. I got 3 prospects I want to talk about. They were all 3 draft picks that I took in. I took them in my mock for Dog Pound Daily that is pinned to the top of my Twitter profile right now. If you want to go check it out and tell me how stupid I am, that's great. That's fine. I understand. But I want to start here. And I said this on Twitter, and I actually muted the tweet. I do not mute tweets, Nick. You know this. I don't mute tweets often. I respond to people. I take all the negative comments and things like that, and stuff like that. But like, I don't hate if someone disagrees with me. You know what I mean? Like, I don't mute it because people hate my take or anything like that, because you can hate my take. That's fine. But I muted it because some people were just really blowing it up and twisting it. But I want to point this out. Wins are not quarterback stats. And I am and Nick knows this because I came in a space yesterday. I came in a space today, and I put it on Twitter that wins are not quarterback stats. And I had some people fire back at me. Well, they always talk about Tom Brady's 7 Super Bowls. And it's like, okay, hold on. Hold up. Wins are not stats on how a quarterback plays. Tom Brady has been great in 7 Super Bowls. Tom Brady has won 7 Super Bowls. Jimmy G has not won several playoff games. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't because of Jimmy G. It was because of Tom Brady. If you look at wins, they're not accurate depictions of quarterback play. So putting it out there, the wins are quarterback stats crowd is awful. I agree. Because like it's just not accurate depiction on how they played. I understand that like other things can go like, oh, Tom Brady threw 4 touchdowns in the Super Bowl, so he got the Super Bowl win. Yeah, but look at what Jimmy G. If we were very close to the Niners making the Super Bowl, and Jimmy G was awful in the game that got them to the NFC Championship game. And it was his team that elevated him. I'm seeing this on both sides. I'm seeing it to tear down Baker Mayfield, to tear down Desean Watson and elevate Baker Mayfield. That's where I'm seeing it from, because their records, they're similar. The last time, Peyton, Connor brings this up. Peyton Manning won his 2nd Super Bowl with a terrible quarterback performance.
Yeah.
You cannot blame a team's success or failure based off one position. Just not fair. See, that's what I'm getting at. Yes, exactly. So that's my problem. You look at, and everybody tells me, oh, Desean was 4-12. He was 4-12 because he had no defense or an offensive line. I've watched a lot of the tape from his 4-12 season where he is running for his life, and he completed 70% of his passes for 4,800 yards. They're not depictions of how a quarterback plays. I mean, remember Rex Grossman? He went to a Super Bowl in a year where he often had – do you remember this? There were several games at halftime where Rex Grossman had completed more passes to the other team than his, and he went to a Super Bowl. They're not accurate depictions, and I'm tired of it.
You bring up some important stats, but there's more to that, right? In that 4-12 season, not only does Desean Watson complete 70% of his passes, he leads the league in passing. He has a 3-to-1 touchdown to interception ratio. He sacked just 2 less times than Joe Burrow was last year, right? Behind one of the worst offensive lines in football. Okay, so Desean is doing all of this. I could see if Desean Watson was bad too, then obviously the blame falls on him, and of course
then it is a depiction.
yeah. But when the quarterback is literally outdoing everyone else around him, right, and not just obviously on his team, but around him in the NFL, when he's literally leading the league in passing, and he's doing so without throwing interceptions, single-digit interceptions that year. I mean, I think that's pretty telling. Right, that Desean Watson is not the problem on that team. Everybody around him is.
He threw 7 picks while being sacked. Was it 46 times or 49 times?
He was sacked 49 times in 2020. And I cannot fathom a guy that throws 33 touchdowns and 7 interceptions, 4,800 yards, and he's the reason that your team is 4-12. I can't. There's a lot of reasons to question Desean Watson and all of this, right? His on-the-field performance is not one of them.
No, it's not. That's the thing. If you were like, listen, it's the pending cases. It's he wanted traded before the pending cases, so you think he quit on his team. If it's one of those things, you have merit.
Sure.
You have merit there. His on the field, it's like, oh, you just want to throw it at 4-12, 4-12, 4-12. And I just say, go watch it, man. Go watch the 4-12. Go watch it. And you tell me that that's not elite quarterback play, being let down time and time again. I mean, I was watching it. I did for the Patreon. And this is brought up. Nobody talked about Matt Stafford's record in Detroit before he got traded to the Rams. I disagree with that because we always got told that he was not a Hall of Famer. His statistics were Hall of Fame, but he wasn't a Hall of Famer because he couldn't win.
Yeah.
But Matt Stafford's the perfect example. His record shows an awful quarterback, and he's been elite most of his career, in my opinion.
Yeah.
And he's never had a defense. I can't think of the time that he had a defense. And he's gone to the playoffs.
And the thing about it, Matt Stafford obviously was good enough to win a Super Bowl in LA.
Once he got a competent team.
Yeah. And Desean Watson on top of that rushes when Matt Stafford. Desean Watson ran for over 400 yards in 2020 and 3 touchdowns to boot. Like, it's not just that he has terrific passing numbers and like, even when you look at like the yards per attempt and all the various metrics that rank Deshaun's passing are good, and then you add on top of the fact that I guess Deshaun Kaiser ran a little bit, but the Browns having like
don't say that name.
Exactly. The Browns having a legitimate dual threat at quarterback is also an entire game changer for the offense and what they like. You will see so many different packages and play sets with Desean Watson because he has that threat of speed that Baker just didn't have and that Cleveland hasn't had in a long time.
Yeah, Drew in the Brick City. Watson lost. He lost Hopkins and then led the league in passing. They traded away Bob on his way out, traded away just about because Cooks was still there and Tunsil was there and David and Duke Johnson were what they are. But like he traded away just about every good thing on that team. And Desean responded by throwing for completing 70% of his passes and 4,800 yards. That's a franchise quarterback. You can argue why that you think this trade is bad because of the guaranteed money when you don't know what's going to happen with the cases and the suspension and all the picks. But I don't think you have merit in the argument by saying 4-12 because you go watch the tape. I broke down like a 15-minute clip mantra for the Patreon members. And I talked about it. And I'm like, look at each play. Look at the duress he is under, snap after snap after snap. And he performed. And it's just like, I get it. I had when the trade happened, the off the field, all these weird things. It felt weird. It still feels weird.
Yeah.
I'm trying to attack this from just a football standpoint. And from a football standpoint, I don't think you have a leg to stand on. Baker Mayfield's not on the same planet. And I think Baker's better than what he showed in 2021. Yes. But they're not on the same level.
That's the number one thing I noticed about watching Deshaun games is just that, the guys getting hit. Let's see, because Baker ended up being sacked. How many times were you sacked, Baker? Sorry, bear with me.
I thought it was 49.
Baker was sacked 43 times in 2020.
Oh, okay.
So he was sacked a little bit less than Deshaun Watson, but it's comparably so, right?
Yeah, because he also played in 2 less games.
Yeah. Yes, yeah.
1 less game.
But my point is, we all can agree that Baker got to a point in the season where even when a guy was just getting near him, he was panicking and bailing, right? And just the whole play with Baker. And obviously, nobody needs told that Baker's not a running threat, right? So normally that didn't go very well. Deshaun Watson is an actual running threat, like we were talking about. But B, the big thing about him is that when you watch Deshaun Watson games, and I encourage you to watch them, even when guys get near him, he just stares down the field and he goes through his reads. It's like, because that's where Baker like absolutely deteriorated was any pressure. And Deshaun Watson is so much better in that. And I think that itself makes a world of difference.
Drew in Brick City brings up a good comment. I'm sorry. It was Jared who said it. Watson had them in so many games they had no business being in.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so. Zach wants to know if I'm going to Connor says it'll be 6 games reduced to 4. Zach needs to know if I'm going to share it. I have meatloaf and au gratin potatoes. And this is for those that are new on the Twitch channel. My dinner time is usually podcast time. And Nick and Ed can attest to it that I am quite often eating dinner. I try to do it kind of off screen, but I am quite often eating dinner when I'm on the show. So I apologize for anybody that's new checking us out. What is it?
You're quite the multitasker.
I am, yeah, man. But it's delicious. It's the best meatloaf I've ever had. So,
well, there you go.
It's great. I will do one quick thing on Watson, and we'll move on from this because I'm sure we'll get into some more stuff with it later. Nick, you said it the best. Deshaun Watson's calm in the pocket, and I think it's his best attribute because he's calm in the pocket. He steps up in the pocket. And you know what we all say? We still say it, but we really said this early on in Aaron Rodgers' career, that Aaron Rodgers was athletic and he could move, but when he moved, it was to extend plays to throw, and that's what Watson does. Yeah, he's rushed for 400 yards. By the way, not all speed. Sometimes he will lower the shoulder to get the touchdown. Yeah. But he does mostly protect his body. But he will dance around, and just throw a dart. This is another thing I'm mad at. People tell me I saw some weak-ass arm comments. Buddy, go watch the tape. He does not have Baker's arm. Baker has a rocket. Deshaun Watson, like Baker's here, Deshaun Watson's like right here. Like there are some darts on the run, and he is always looking for the home run. And now that's also one of his knocks. He doesn't dump it off as much as he should. He holds on to it, too long. And sometimes it creates, like Mahomes does this. Mahomes creates some of his own pressure. And Baker did it a lot this year when he started second doubting, he was doubting his abilities and stuff. So he held on to take some sacks. So that is a knock, but he has the ability to doubt him, not really doubt himself, but to hold on to it for a little while to try to extend the play. But I think his pocket awareness and his cool under pressure, I think is his best attribute.
It
Yeah,
was
comment
nice
over
to see
here.
some-
Go ahead.
I just want to say, Jacob, it was nice to see some touch throws as well.
Oh,
right?
he can drop it in a bucket now.
Like Baker's deep throwing, definitely a great attribute of his, but I felt like everything was 100 miles an hour at all. There was never, one of those guys that's wide open. There was never a duck with Baker Mayfield. It's just lasers always and forever.
Yeah. Yeah. Sometimes good, sometimes bad, but
For better. Well,
for better or for worse. Yeah. We got a comment over on here. You're right. Is it just me or the media can't stand the fact that Desean Watson picked the Browns over teams like the Saints and the Falcons? It certainly feels like it. And obviously we're biased in that sense, but how quickly we forgot that half the NFL courted this guy. 13 teams, so almost half. Like a lot of teams, and he narrowed it down to 4. Well, originally 3, and then Atlanta came from nowhere, and then we thought it was Atlanta. You get what I'm saying. Yeah, man, it seems like we're, and I get it. I get why we're taking the heat. It's not a cut and dry football situation like we all wish it was. But yeah, that's where we are. Kelly also said congratulations to the show on joining the network and the Twitch. We have got so much stuff coming for you at the Faithful Dogs Network. I'm telling you guys, this Twitch especially, our show will stay where our show is everywhere, plus the Twitch. Like I said, massive mock draft Saturday night, 8 p.m. this coming Saturday. It's going to be Twitch only. Don't forget to subscribe to the Twitch and follow the network on Twitter. You can win. You have an opportunity to win an Amari Cooper jersey. We are 80. Last I checked, we had 211 Twitch followers. We're looking for 300 for the giveaway. Okay. So we're looking to get that to 300 so we can.
We're also, I just want to say, we're also slowly creeping up on YouTube, and that when we do hit that mark, it will help us immensely. So to everybody who's taken the time to subscribe on YouTube, all these platforms help us, right? So no matter where you are, the fact that you're listening now, it helps us immensely, and I just want to say thank you for that.
I wanted to.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're fine. Go ahead.
I just want to say we got to see the MC Lawrence's son actually got the shirt from Zabo Apparel, and he posted online. It was they were really happy with it. We're really happy with it. Thank you to all of our wonderful Patreon people. I know I've talked to Tim recently, and his situation's improving. But thank you to everybody.
That's good.
Yeah, and so
I'm really happy to hear that. I want to selfishly plug myself. 2 months at Dog Pound Daily now. We are I am over 500,000 clicks, half a million views on my articles at Dog Pound Daily, and I'm just like absolutely flabbergasted. And it's just like I say this all the time, Nick. Nick can attest to this, and the boys at the network can attest to this. And I'm flabbergasted. I'm living a dream, and you guys help me with that every day. And here's the sappy side of me. So a question, and then we've got Ed's Go For It's coming up in just a couple of minutes. I know he's ready. He told me he was ready. He said he's got some good fire questions for us tonight. Drew asks, can Desean unlock Njoku's potential? Now that is a great question. I like that. That is actually something I would like to do a little deep dive on, maybe a little bit later. Watson, I'm going to write this down because I might write up unlock Njoku. I'm actually going to write this potentially a little bit of an article on that. So I appreciate that, Drew. That's a great question. He loves tight ends. I mean, he does. I mean, maybe Baker focused a little bit more on tight ends, but he loves to give big bodies the opportunity to make a play. The throwing it up kind of plays. You see some of those. It's not going to be like a totally night and day difference, but I would think that the Njoku type of tight end who can get vertical, Desean loves to go vertical. Like if you watch the tape, he loves to go vertical.
He you know what? He made Darren Fells look quite good after he left the Browns. Desean Watson did, and
actually, you know what? When he asked that question, Darren Fells was the tight end that popped in my head when I was talking about contested catch opportunities. because that was the film that I had watched from 2020. Yeah.
So you know what? Darren Fells caught 4 touchdowns with Deshaun Watson. David Njoku caught 4 touchdowns last year, right? I think that ceiling is significantly higher with Deshaun Watson.
Yeah. It definitely was right where, we thought it was I think he can get you closer to what you think Njoku is, right?
Yeah.
Like that's what I think. All right. JC's over here. JC's joining us on Twitch. What's going on, buddy? He said that I had an amazing draft I posted a few days ago, but what is your perfect picks? 44, 78, 99, give realistic and long shot options. Okay. Let's JC, let's do that, and then we'll go to Ed. We'll go to Ed. We'll do the draft real quick. Perfect picks. There's this world. I'll do perfect long shot first at 44. I'll do my 2 44s, and then I'll let you do your 44s, and we'll go back and forth. 44, 77, 78. So 44, the perfect long shot is Treylon Burks. All of a sudden, Treylon Burks is falling, right? And I said this the other night on a space. It may have been yesterday, and I think it was on JC's space. It reminds you of the way JOK fell. He's a very nuanced player, Treylon Burks. Like he is, like people, talk about it. He's a slot receiver. I mean, he truly is. He's a big slot receiver, and it's a very specific skill set. JOK fell because people just didn't know how to use him after seeing the Cardinals fail with using the similar type of player in Isaiah Simmons the year before. And I know there was some hard stuff with JOK, but I was told that really wasn't that big of a deal, that sort of thing. But I think if Treylon Burks falls, you're probably going to have to go up a little bit. But 44, that's higher than where JOK fell last year. So if there's one guy I think could tumble that would just be this long shot but perfect 44, it's Treylon Burks. And my guy today, the perfect one for me that is realistic, I think is Cameron Thomas, the edge rusher from San Diego State. And that's because he has that inside-outside flexibility. He can kick inside. I think it is clear when you watch his tape, he is much better on the outside than he is on the inside. But he can, I don't say it's the exact same, but a very similar mold to Jadeveon Clowney. He is excellent in the run game. He can kick inside. He has great speed to power, burst ability to switch back and forth between speed and power, and he's explosive off the line. I think that is perfect at 44.
So I'm not the prospect expert like Jacob is, but I jumped into a mock just for funsies and to see what would happen.
See what's there, yeah.
Yeah. So this time at 44, I ended up with Drake Jackson staring me in the face.
Oh, I love Drake Jackson.
And that's another defensive end out of USC. And I think, you know what, and we're all hoping, banking maybe on Clowney coming back, but no matter what.
I think it's done.
Okay, well that's reassuring. But I know I've seen that he meets a lot of the requirements that the Browns typically go off of, and especially in a world where you just need a young defensive end to pair with Myles Garrett. Excuse me, and he needs to learn to be a defensive end, and who better to teach him? Yeah. You know what? Especially if you could come into a situation where the 2 starters above you are already solidified and you're just in a place where, you're going to learn behind those guys and you and Chase Winovich are going to kind of be maybe that third guy. Like, I think that's a very good first pick for the Browns, at least to me.
It's a rotation.
Yeah.
It's a rotation where you didn't really have a rotation. You know what I mean? Like, it was like you didn't really have a rotation. With the injuries that happened, you ended up not having. It looks like Mika Fitzpatrick is closing in on an extension with the Steelers.
Interesting.
And at times you missed on a rotation there.
I'll tell you.
So who's your long shot at 44?
Long shot.
So somebody that probably in your situation right now was not there, but maybe he got close. Maybe he was at 40 or something like that.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm actually gonna, because I was looking just a little bit. So right before we picked Jahan Dotson went
Mm.
to the Falcons, one pick ahead of us, and that is just a kick right there because
If somehow Jahan Dotson falls to 44, and you can put, because people think he's just a slot. He's not. He played more on the outside than he did in the slot. But you can slide him into the slot with DPJ and Amari Cooper. And
you could have a lot of fun.
I'm salivating.
I think about it too. Like one of the things, like I know a lot of people don't have huge hope on Anthony Schwartz right now, but I think about how they used him as a part of a rushing attack, like with sweeps and that kind of stuff in college. And we really didn't get to see any of that. But I think he'll hit a point where, like, if you are able to add one of these wide receivers, like you can use him as like that just gadget speed switch up guy. Yeah. And that's a tremendous like fourth weapon to have in your arsenal. I'd be comfortable with that. So
we'll slide to 78 real quick.
Okay.
And we got some other questions. I see Sip's question. I see Cosman's question. We will get to you. We're going to do these draft questions, and we're going to jump to Ed's Ed's go for it because he has some questions for us, and then we'll jump back. So I see all the questions that are out there, but we will get to them. So we'll do 78. 78's weird. I don't know, like, I don't know. I don't know where we're at 78. I took Alec Pierce today, and I think he's the best. I think it's a little bit more of a long shot that he actually gets to 78. But, like, he reminds me of, like, a straight line speed. He's much faster than Jarvis Landry, but he does a lot of things that Jarvis can do. The inside-outside flexibility, great hands, reliable, can shifty after the catch, like things that Jarvis Landry did. And, I know he's getting older and some of that, and some people are like, bring him back. Well, I'm saying get the younger, faster Jarvis Landry.
Yeah.
So, like, that's, to me, that's the dream. 78 being him is the dream. I think the most realistic one is actually a guy like Nick Cross, who I actually took later at 99, but I'm starting to hear a lot of rumblings that he doesn't make it out of day 3. And I know day 2 is 99 is still. Nick Cross is 20 years old. I really like Nick Cross back there as that third safety. And I think realistically, like, you may need to take him at 78. So if, like, Alec Pierce doesn't tumble down to 78, taking Nick Cross seems really realistic and in a pretty good, I think, scheme fit and overall fit for the Browns.
I'm really sad that Jahan Dotson went when he did, because I've made it to 70. Where am I at? 78 here, and I'm looking, and there's a couple guys that are interesting, but Logan Hall is sitting there, and I know he's kind of a guy that I'm not sure that he's like your big defensive tackle type of prospect. He's more.
I think he's an outside rusher with inside flexibility at the next level. He may be a long shot though, because 78. I'm being told that he's getting some first round buzz.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. Well, here. You know what? Andrew Berry's too tempted by the talent and the potential, so we are just loading up on their defensive line, and I'm taking Logan Hall.
I don't have no situation, like, even if Logan Hall was 44 and then you took somebody out at 78, I have no issue with that. I have zero issue with that. You can go, and I know he's a defensive tackle, or if you call him an edge, whatever you want to call him, and you just get 2 rushers, I don't give a shit. You can never have enough defensive linemen, man.
No.
You tell me, load that thing up, make them young, put them on rookie deals. Are you kidding me? Let's do it. Let's load that damn room up. I love it. JC, we will get back to 99 a little bit later on. We just got a couple of more things we want to get to real quick. We'll see if we have time to do a 99 there as well. So we're going to bring him on. The great producer, Ed, he's back in the background making faces at me, trying to see if he can get me to break. Sometimes I do notice Ed get a little bit bored. We won't get a Twitter comment for a second. He'll be like, and then you'll see him. Oh, you can tell he got a comment because he'll catch us. I'm just teasing you, Ed. I'm just giving you a hard time.
A little administrative stuff. Got to give love and shout outs to Drew, Jarrett, Dee, Alicia, Devin, and Travis, and even Harry Botter. Got to give love to them. We always appreciate you watching. I have been working on a Baker Mayfield poem, so that will be done.
Oh, you have?
I have. I've been busy. So as we transition into our go for it. Oh, Nick, Drew wanted to know, will you be on Browns After Dark tonight?
Yeah. Tuesday nights are Browns After Dark, man. We're coming. It's gonna be fun. We love our friends at Browns After Dark.
We had a Browns After Dark moment yesterday, Nick. I don't know if you were in it, but Batbot joined us.
Oh God.
And he comes on, they're like, "Hey, Batbot, what's going on?" He goes, "I am vengeance." And it was just so, and he kept character like the whole time. It was great.
That's awesome.
All right, Ed, what do you
my
got?
My personal favorite is Longhorn, whatever the sound he makes.
There's a rumor, we can't confirm it. There's a rumor that somebody on this show is one of the bots.
Whoa.
That is what I've been told. I cannot confirm any of those rumors. But
I just want to say, because some people might not know what we're talking about. So on Twitter, the Brown Spaces, where everybody just comes in and voice chats with one another, is all the rage right now. And we've got quite a few characters that have spawned off of all of this talking that we nonstop do. And so that's what we're talking. Like there's a literal cow. Like one day we had Longhorn bot, which is
Longhorn bot,
yeah, and an account named Cow, and we had dual mooing. It was something.
My favorite is our friend Connor, who lives in New York, and he's always walking down the streets talking, and it's just so many cars are just running through.
Okay, so
I didn't mean to steal it from you.
I got a little curveball here with the go for it tonight, because it's the caveat that we're gonna go for it, but I just want to know the threshold as to what it would take for you to actually go for it. So because with the draft and with the free agencies and stuff like that, so it's a little different, but because we're gonna go for it. So my first one is a guy that plays wide receiver down for the Houston Texans named Brandon Cooks. We're gonna go for it. You're Andrew Berry. They say we want a 2. Probably don't want to give up a 2, obviously.
No.
But they come back a week later and say, how about a 3 and maybe something down the road? What are you doing, Jacob and Nick? Are we going to go for it? And how are we doing it?
Is it 99?
Yes.
Yeah, it kind of has to be, doesn't it?
No, so we have 78 and we have 99. So my question is 99?
I'm going to say 90. I'm going to say 99.
Yeah, 100%, 150%. I've heard it's unlikely they trade him. That is what it's sounding like, and it makes sense because they want to see what they got in Davis Mills, and keeping him a number 1 wide receiver that he has some repertoire with, and bolstering his weapons and or his offensive line, depending on what they do at 3 and 13, makes the most sense. If he's available and you can give him 99, and I don't care what day 3 pick you give them next year, I do it 110 times out of 100.
I tweeted this yesterday, and I said, Amari Cooper would have been the best receiver for the Browns last year, but Brandon Cooks also would have been the best receiver on the Browns last year. So if you can get those 2 guys on your team, I think I'm all about it.
It takes so much pressure off of guys like DPJ and Anthony Schwartz, and it lets these guys just be guys.
And
you know what I mean? Like, and it just opens it up on so many different levels. It's, it seems like a no-brainer to me.
It feels like Brandon Cooks has been in the league for forever, but he's still a year younger than Amari Cooper. I think he's 28, 7.
Yeah, 27. Amari Cooper's 27. Yep. Let me see here. Brandon Cooks is 28. He'll be 29. He'll be 29 in the fall.
I had it flipped. Sorry. But my point is they're both in their 20s, right? That's an ideal situation to me.
My little brother asked me, he's like, Amari Cooper's not going to be around for a while. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he's like, well, he's like 32 or something. I was like, he's 27. And he came into the league at like 20, 21, like Amari did. So like, it just was very young.
Well, Nick likes to, I want to let everybody know that I'm 42, not 43. I know there's been some ongoing, and Andy has not yet produced any receipts yet. So that. So I am still 42, and I believe my birth certificate is correct. But if somebody can produce other evidence out there, I'm willing to look.
Shout out to the Dog Chug tomorrow night, Wednesday at 10? 10?
10
o'clock,
We
10
love
p.m. Yes. Second question, and I like it because you guys have already preferenced it a little bit. A guy named Treylon Burks. Now, that guy interests me. And you saying that he's falling. So we're going to go for it. How far, or let's just say this. It's pick 30. It's pick 31, 32, 33. Tick, 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 tick. When are you making that phone call? And what are you giving up to get this guy? Because we're going for it. So how are we going for what are the parameters to get this done, Jacob and Nick?
It's somewhere, I think the magic number. So the magic number for me for JOK was like 50, like because I can't remember where they were coming up from. I think it was in the 70s, but where they were coming up from, I think the number's 35. I think it's somewhere around, and I say 35 and I see 35 pop up twice in the comments. Yeah, I do. I think 35, 36, and then there's another 35, 35, 36. Like at 34, this is what you're doing at 34. And then if he doesn't go at 34, you pick up that phone, you say, all right, man, you start getting him at 35. If they say no or whatever, and he keeps falling, you keep going. But 35 is when I think everybody's like, yeah, 34 is too early. 36 is gone. Yeah, it's like and I'm not even looking at. I don't have the draft order in front of me to tell you which teams it are. I'm just trying to think from a compensation standpoint that once you get under 10 picks, when you're talking about draft capital, like there's a value to each draft pick, and it adds up to this and that. And you want to try to keep it even, and so you're at 44. Now, remember this. Remember when they went up to 52, they gave up pick 79 because they had 79 and 81.
Yeah.
They gave up 79 but they gave it up for a fourth. So they didn't even really just give it up. They swapped their third and a fourth. So in this situation, to go up from 44 to 35, and then you give up maybe 78 and you get their fourth, if I will give you 78 to go up if you give me your fourth, which would be top of the fourth round, because you're going to a team that's 35. So I think 35 is Houston. If I'm actually being honest, I'm trying off the top of my head, I'm pretty sure it's Houston. But yeah, you're going to have to give up 44, and you're probably going to get 78 and probably get a fourth or a fifth back. So if I can get a fourth or a fifth back for 78 to go from 44 to 35 to Treylon Burks, I'm doing it 110 times out of 100.
I feel like you covered the options in this basic scenario. So I'm gonna reach a little higher and say that they really value the 5th-year option on Treylon Burks. And so if you wanted to go to like 31, is Cincinnati 31, right?
Yeah.
Cincinnati 31. That probably that spot. Like
that's probably not going to happen. They're in the division.
Yeah, that's true. Well, I guess that's fair. Yeah, they probably wouldn't trade with you. Okay. Yeah. All right. So fine. Then there you are. You're sitting at pick 32 and you need the 5th-year option and you got to go from 44 to 32. That's probably going to be a lot more steep. Is that going to cost you? I mean, I'd imagine they'd try to get like next year's second out of you. Maybe you could do it for a third.
You don't have your second next year. Remember the Desean Watson trade. So
I'm not used to this as a Browns fan.
Try to, or maybe you have your second. I think that's when you give up the second. Over to the side, different Connor. The 6-0 mode is the gone by 4 p.m. Connor. Connor King is the one that's always outside. I saw the conversation going on Twitch. I just wanted to clear that up.
So if you wanted to, obviously the price is going to be more steep. It's harder to say with trades up like that are for those all valuable first round picks, but I'd assume they'd have to give up.
I just think that's too much.
It's probably too much. I just think, Jacob, you covered the base, like, if he falls into the second round type thing. So I'm just searching.
You could see that though, because like now the 5th-year option I think is more important for quarterbacks, but that's still there's so much value there. There's so much value in, like, I mean, you look at it, like if Baker was the dude, you have him under contract this year for $18.5 million. And if he was the franchise quarterback, and maybe he will be for someone somewhere else. That's cheap.
And you're seeing, the Browns may not have done it perfectly, but you're seeing like the Chargers and Bengals right now.
I did call Connor God by 4 p.m. Connor. I'm sorry, Connor. You're so much more. You know that.
The Chargers and Bengals are two of the examples of teams that are taking advantage of the rookie quarterback deal and doing it right.
Yes.
And so it's crazy how much of it, like when you can pay Joey Bosa and Khalil Mack and J.C. Jackson and I always forget the name of their safety.
Derwin James.
Yeah. When you could pay all those guys and then you're still paying Keenan Allen and
why do I know all these obscure players' names?
and Mike Williams and
Mike Williams got a bag, man. Good for him.
My point is they are loaded. And so is Cincinnati, honestly.
But that's a whole AFC West. It's a whole AFC West.
And they're just
I'm gonna throw in another one because I just got this from Jared. Jameson Williams. When are we making calls? Are we doing
Jameson Williams will be drafted in the top 15 and you can take that to the bank.
Okay. There it is.
Jameson Williams. Okay, so Jameson Williams goes in the top 15 in my opinion. No, cancel anime. I was talking about Derwin James. I know a bunch of random players. I think he goes in top 15. If for some reason he doesn't go top 15, I still think Jameson Williams can be the first wide receiver off the board. Wow. If he doesn't, he will not make it past the Chiefs and the Packers at the latest. There's just no way. The Chiefs and the Packers can wait for him to get healthy. Think about that for a second. Like there is, it is a thing. There is a thing out there that Nick resembles Baker. That is a known thing. Yeah. People do say it. Well, he's asking about it. And I saw he made a comment earlier. So he said, see you, JC. He's checking out until Browns After Dark. Love it. Talk to you about later, buddy.
Support friend.
But yeah, no, like, I think he could still be the top wide receiver. Like, there's no way Green Bay and Kansas City pass on him if he somehow gets there. But if I was placing prop bets on the draft, him going in the top 15, yeah, that's where I put money on it.
I have no idea who will fall, but I can promise you someone always does.
I think it's Treylon Burks.
Yeah, and sometimes it's really public why. Right. And other times we have no idea, but a guy just, inexplicably falls in. And so I would imagine, Andrew Berry took advantage of it with JOK.
He took it twice because Newsom fell to him in the first place.
That's true. That's a good point. So we'll see. I think it's really nice to have an opportunistic GM.
Just takes advantage of what's out there. Ed, we appreciate it, buddy. We'll get you back on for the final segment here in a little bit.
I'll be back with my poem.
You know what? I'm gonna be brief because I know that all of a sudden our time is gone, but I just want to say to your 4 and 12 point.
Do you want we'll do next nuances here, and then I'm going to catch up on all the comments and we'll wrap up.
I'm going to be pretty brief because I just want to shape this argument. There's a lot of people that are blaming Desean Watson for the Texans going 4 and 12, and we've covered a lot of the reasons that's not the case. But I just want to make the point clear because a lot of people will similarly defend Baker Mayfield for his performance while talking about Desean Watson and his shortcomings as to why Houston was 4 and 12. So I wouldn't probably tweet about this because it would cause hellfire. But on the show, I feel like it's more appropriate. There's a few things here when you compare Desean Watson and Baker, and I'm going from Desean Watson's 2020 and Baker Mayfield's 2021 because I think it's fair because everyone wants to defend Baker for what he's done and blame Desean Watson for the Texans going 4 and 12. So, for example, Baker Mayfield completed 60% of his passes in 2021. Desean Watson completed 70%.
70.3 or whatever it was.
Yeah. Yes. The most yards per attempt Baker Mayfield has ever had is 7.7. The least Desean Watson has ever had, where are you? Is 7.8. Right. So Desean Watson's worst year is still better, and you can make stats tell you whatever you want, but when there's an overwhelming amount of stats that tell you one thing, I think it's fair to draw a conclusion.
You can cherry pick stats to push whatever
Yeah.
narrative you want.
Yeah, but you know what? But when you look at it and you go,
this comment here, I'm sorry, it goes with your nuances. He's the only reason they won 4 games.
He is. Baker Mayfield's best year, he threw for 3,827 yards. Desean Watson just finished throwing for a full 1,000 yards more than Baker Mayfield has in his best season. I just
it's not to trash Baker.
No, it's not. But when people are defending Baker Mayfield for the Browns record and what happened with the Browns season, what I'm pointing out to you is when you then turn around and say, well, the Texans were 4-12 with Desean Watson. You can't have it both ways. Either Baker was bad and it's largely his fault that the Browns didn't win games, or Desean Watson is good and it is not his fault that the Texans were not winning games. You can't be.
You can't change your rationale.
Yeah.
On the exact same topic.
Yes. And so that's really what I'm trying to say, right? If we're going to sit here and defend Baker, he was hurt, did this, that. Well, when you look at the two quarterbacks, it's really not close, right? In any statistic. So I'm just trying to point out that people that are rushing to bash Desean for the Texans' performance are going to be quite pleased at what they see when Desean Watson has talent around him and is not getting killed behind a terrible offensive line.
Okay, I got a couple of questions that I know were back here. I wanted to get to. We kind of addressed that one. What are our 9 to 5s? I like this. I like personal questions. So I work at Ohio University. I do a lot of I coordinate a lot of the daily transit that goes on across the university, as well as the parking enforcement aspect of it. And I run all the game day parking for all the sport events and that kind of thing. And Nick is an entrepreneur.
Yes, I will leave it at I own my own little business.
Yeah, he is an entrepreneur. I think I got past all. Okay, Connor, this is ridiculous. Now I'll be gone by 4 p.m.
Wow. Connor, violence in the chat.
It's just coming at me here. I didn't even know what I did. Could the Browns pick up Ogunjobi? I don't think so. Larry Ogunjobi had a 35 run grade. People don't want to talk about the fact that he's awful. He's never been able to defend the run. They need a nose tackle. He can rush. He is a good rusher, but he just doesn't work in the Joe Woods scheme. We saw that. And it's just like, it doesn't make sense for what he wanted. And it's really weird that he failed the physical and that now hasn't signed. That I just don't know what's going on there. Like he had a contract that was way too much money for a guy that can only rush the passer. And
at this point, give me Sheldon Richardson back.
I'd much rather Sheldon Richardson. I'm not huge on that, but I'm
an option at least.
Clowney signing soon and drafting Logan Hall. Yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
He just went somewhere new. Who went somewhere new?
Did Larry go somewhere new? I know he failed the physical for the Bears.
Yeah, I saw that too. Because the initially was going to
cancel anime. He says a lot of people that are trashing Watson in Nick's timeline are Steelers fans from what he's seen. My favorite is there was this one Steelers fan that has been going at Browns fans about Watson, who a month ago was begging Watson to come to Pittsburgh. And I'm like, come on. And he's like, so what? And I'm like, really, dude? Like, come on. Like,
he's like calling Watson all the names that you could picture calling him, but a month before was begging him to be a Steeler. So
begging him. Like there are some receipts.
It was not good. Not good.
There's some receipts. Let's see if I got anything over on the Twitter. How far Drew asks about Emmanuel Sanders. I'm not lying that I was looking through free agent wide receivers yesterday. I think it might have been today. Just trying to look because like I have a big focus on Will Fuller. I just think it makes sense. I know the injuries and things like that. I just think it makes sense because they could use a field stretcher.
And he needs a prove it year, right?
Yeah, he's going to cost you like $3 or $4 million. So like it's
that's
low risk, high reward.
Yeah.
So, and I get why you don't want him. All the people that don't want Will Fuller, I know why, and that's fine. It's justified, and I understand that. But I was thinking to myself, like, outside of him, I've been very vocal why I don't think the Browns should bring back Jarvis Landry. I get why the emotional connection. I don't think they should. But I was like looking past those two, because those are the big two, right? Like everybody's like, they're connected to Fuller, they're connected to Landry. And and Emmanuel Sanders did pop up on my radar yesterday. And I mean, I realized that he's like 35, by the way. I didn't know that. And then I was like, well, you know what, Ed, I know Ed, if you could look up to verify that, the age of Emmanuel Sanders for me real quick. I know he's like, I know he's like in his mid 30s. And I was like, oh wow, Emmanuel Sanders is that old? And they didn't play that old. That's the role. Emmanuel Sanders is a Will Fuller, he's like, he
started with Ben and the Steelers in like their heyday.
35. Yeah.
And
he was in San Fran, and he's 35. So like, I mean, if he's going to sign a 1-year deal, one of those 1 year, similar to like the Malik Jacksons of the world, the way Barry has done that, he's probably an even better option than Fuller. Fuller just has the repertoire with Watson.
And he was younger then, but I remember the Saints signed Emmanuel Sanders.
Oh, yeah, he was there too. That was the other team. Yep. Is Ed, are you wearing a new hat? We have a question. Are you wearing a hat? Is that a new hat? No? Hold on.
It's a newer hat. It is a newer hat. It is a newer hat. I've worn it a couple times.
All right. We'll get you back in a second, buddy. I had to bring him on real quick because they asked if Ed was wearing a new hat. Let's see here. I do think safety. Oh, I wanted to point this out a little bit real quick on the draft. I want to do my real quick draft thing, and I'll bring everybody. Ed will come back on for us to wrap up the show. We're coming dangerously on time at the hour, but I don't know if we've ever done an hour show, for being honest. But so anyway, excuse me. I am 95% sure the Cleveland Browns are drafting a tight end. I'm not sure where. They're now visiting Greg Dulcich as one of the top 30 visits. I know they've already seen Jalen Weidermeyer. I know they talked to every tight end at the combine, it feels like. I expect more tight ends to visit. They've gone to most tight ends pro days. I love Daniel Bellinger in the 6th because I think he's the best blocker, I think, in this draft at tight end. And I think that he can play H-back, the fullback role. So if they don't want to hold Johnny Stanton, I think that he can fit in there real nice and good there. So that is one thing I think a safety on day 2 is happening. I don't know if it's 78 or 99. I think a safety. I hope it's Nick Cross. 20 years old, and he's so fast. He's like a 4.36, a 4.38, something like that at the safety position. He plays deep single high so that John Johnson and Grant. I'm salivating at the idea of what you could do with a Nick Cross back there. Just he lets Delpit and John Johnson do what they do best, and both of them can play deep. They can, but getting in the box, Delpit is a heck of a nickel rusher, man. Like, I just remember him nearly committing murder on Davis Mills in week 2. He nearly committed murder in his first career game. But like, I think Nick Cross, I think safety is addressed there. I think that is where I am 95% sure a tight end goes. I think it's day 3. It could be at 78. They could take Dolchitz at 78 because I think that's where you're going to have to take if you want to take the tight end out of UCLA. I think they take that. They're going to take, I think, an edge rusher, an interior lineman, a tight end, and a safety. Fill in the rest. But one quick, I'm going to bring Ed on because I want both of your guys' opinion on this as we start to wrap the show up here. I've been told that you don't draft specialists. I'm here to say that's bullshit. And I'm going to tell you why. Because if I don't think you draft, listen, we signed a punter. I can't pronounce his name. I saw somebody say that we were going to call it Boj bombs. So that's what I'm going to stick it with. It's Boj. That's what I'm going to call him. All right. Boj bombs whenever he punts it with that left. That's a trend. That's 3 straight lefties. 3 straight. The hammer, Colquitt, Boj, 3 straight lefties. I don't remember who the punter was before the hammer. It was Britton Colquitt. It was Colquitt's brother, and he was a righty. So they tell me we don't do this. Listen, in the 6th round, in the 7th round, if we are where we think we are, a good team, a lot of those late day 3 picks, they don't make the roster. So why the fudge can it not be a kicker or a punter that will make the roster? If it's a dude, don't just take one to take one. But if it's a dude, if it's Cameron Dicker, who has a clear career long of 57 yards, and he went 49 of 50 on extra points last year. Think about that. 49 of 50. He didn't kick a ton of field goals. I think he was like 13 of 15. So his percentage wasn't great, but he only tried like 15. It was either 13 of 15 or 15 of 18. I can't remember. I'm mixing up him and Cade York. But if you've got a guy with a leg and he's accurate and he's confident and he's going to make your roster I like Chris Steele in the 7th, a corner from USC. He checks all of Jack Duffin's boxes, right? And he might not make the roster, but if I take Cameron Dicker, I feel better about a kicker in the 7th round making the roster than I do a position player.
Look at Evan McPherson with the Bengals last year. Like he won them 3 straight playoff games, right? At the end, He
went 20 for 20 in the play. He went 20 for 20 in the playoffs.
Did he really?
Did you see what Pat McAfee did at WrestleMania? Punters are people too. Oh, seriously, that was the greatest thing. Pat at WrestleMania with Stone Cold. Oh my God, all that stuff. Vince McMahon. That was the best stunner sell of all time. When he got stuttered and he went straight up and spit all the beer and he fell back, that was the greatest stunner sell of all time, I think. But why? Why?
Yeah,
they matter. We lost games because of kickers.
Many.
We didn't lose games because of our practice squad corner that we drafted in the 7th round.
It'd be nice to have. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, Andrew Berry stands with Nick Harris, Harrison Bryant, Donovan Peoples-Jones, and maybe even Richard LeCounte and AJ Green, right? All those guys that he has had his hand in, right, could be contributors that you get in the late round. But you have to have a kicker. We're not going to the Super Bowl without a kicker.
How many good teams cut their 7th round pick? And that's where we're at, right? Where we think we're at a good team. How many of them cut it? Just give me somebody that's going to – the kicker is going to make a bigger impact than a dude on the practice squad.
You need one.
I'm not going to argue with you, Jacob. You're right.
People are arguing with me on the internet, and they told me I was stupid, and so I'm here to tell them that they're stupid.
I want to say – as we're kind of getting, this has been really cool to have all these extra people. This is a very exciting place for us. But in terms of the Bengals and our bet and stuff, I still have all this hair, and excuse it because it's just hat hair. But I'm getting weak because it's getting warmer out. So I think it might be Mohawk time soon. I got
to pay poem time.
It is. A cancel anime is on our side. He says that I should tell him. I'm telling him all about it.
Good.
All right.
Good for you.
We have a poem from Ed in Columbus. I call him Poem in Columbus.
Ooh.
And or Edgar Allan Poe in Columbus.
Wow.
Okay, so this is about our quarterback for the last 4 years, Baker Mayfield. I want to give him a good send-off because he did some good things. I know the Baker haters and the Baker bros, we all need to come together. We can honor this man for what he did and got us playoff win. So this is my ode to Baker Mayfield.
Okay.
Bye, Baker Mayfield guy. You open the fridges in the land so our mouths aren't dry. You gave us good old fun and a playoff win. And cheers till we meet up again. Thank you, Baker.
I like it.
Okay. Yes. I love it, Ed. That was awesome. That was great. I love that. Yeah.
You got to bear with me because I was also paying attention to Jacob when I was writing a few lines, but I've obliged. It's a short Amari Cooper, but it's Amari Cooper for a 5th. Browns fans feeling super. Andrew Berry couldn't resist. 8 touchdowns in 2021. How many Browns receivers would have beaten that? Not a one. Watson and Cooper, what a pair. The Browns passing game finally ending despair. Amari Cooper, that's a number 1. Hop on the bandwagon. This ride is going to be fun. I had to do it. I was doing it on the fly. So, but that you ask and you shall receive.
Cancel Anime asks, "Are we still going to own the Bengals, or was that Baker's thing only?" I hope it's. Well, hey, Case beat them too, so like
That's true.
So Case, yeah. So I hope I have a few coworkers that are Bengals fans, and I just I need it to continue. Yeah, I can't go to work otherwise.
I have a strong. You may. When we come back next week, you may see Mohawk. I'm like close to tying it all back and like making it reasonable hair. I don't know what I'm going to do yet, so it'll be a fun surprise.
We should have a good week, guys. Don't forget, if you haven't subscribed to the FD Network Twitch, we are going to FD Network Clee is how it is put out and on Twitch. Make sure you do. Mitch knows who I'm referring to, and he just commented. He just go, yeah, Mitch. That's 100% who I'm talking about. So, but we great. Nick with the Mohawk has to be his Twitter. Yeah, it has to be his Twitter profile picture.
Oh yeah, I would do it
100%. And he's like, spike it up. So we Saturday 8 p.m. over at the. On our Twitch channel, the FD Network, the Faithful Dogs Network on on Twitch will be the what did I call it? Mega Browns draw Saturday night.
Okay.
We're going to go through a bunch 8 p.m. exclusively over on our Twitch channel. We will go through a bunch of mock draft scenarios for the Browns. We will be joined by the Faithful Dogs podcast boys. They will join us. We are joining them. We're mashing it up, right? We're going to go together. We're going to have a bunch of great times on Saturday night. We'll all be there, and we'll have a great time. So, Nick, if you guys don't have anything, get us out of here.
One more thing. Shout out to MC Lawrence. And I'm sorry. He's going to need Kleenex. He said my poem made him cry.
There you go. Thank you for listening. As always, this has been – wow, we're coming up on a year now. Almost there.
End of the month.
End of the month. This has been the Jacob Phillips episode of the Barking Browns Show. I'm Nick. He's Jacob. That's Ed. Go Browns.